So, here's my snazzy little video. My name is Michael John Weber. Excuse me. I am a novelist. No, I'm not famous. No, I'm not rich. No, I've never been on Oprah, etc., etc., and that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. What I have done and managed to write 6 novels in 3 years. No, I'm not bragging. That's just the way it is. I'm sure they'll build a statue to my honor in the future, but whatever. For now, one of the things I noticed is, well, if you go on the internet and there's a lot of advice on how to become a published, successful, amazing writer who everybody loves and cheers for, there's not a lot of useful advice on how to actually finish a novel. In fact, I see a lot of people just struggling to get through their first novel to get to the end. And they struggle often with writer's block. The two, the one sort of leads to the other. Writer's block leads to lots of unfinished novels lying in drawers or on backup hard drives. In fact, probably more unfinished works than published works, I would imagine. So anyway, not that I'm amazing and I am no genius, but I do not suffer from writer's block ever. Um, I think it's because of the formula, excuse me, the formula by which I write, the method by which, the technical way I write. And so that's what I'm going to explain to you. It's the Michael John Weber's patented system of how to avoid writer's block and finish your friggin' novel. And it's going to sound weird, and maybe it's not going to suit you because different minds, different strokes for different folks, artists are weird, etc., etc. But I highly suggest you take a stab at this after I explain the theory. I'm going to try to do it fast because nobody has an attention span longer than 9 seconds anymore. So, and I hope it works. I just so that, I can't guarantee you success. I don't care what you write about or whether or not you like what I write about. The point of the matter is I finished writing and I got to the end. And so this is how I do it. Obviously, being a writer, I've been trying to write novels for years, and I myself have unfinished novels lying around. So I don't know. I'm not trying to accuse you of nothing, punch you in your ego. Just saying, try another method, maybe it'll work. So here's my story. I started trying to write a novel. I got 100 pages through it, and I failed because I didn't know what else to write. And then, I don't know, a month or two later, I got it in my head I should write a screenplay. Because I had this idea for a prequel for the movie Jaws. As stupid as that sounds, I love Jaws. Oh my god. Even Jaws 3 and 4, they're like, I enjoy those more than Jaws 2, to be honest. And I know that's going to make a lot of enemies just saying that right there. But still. Oh, and I'm sorry I talk real fast, but I'm a writer, so I got a lot to say. So I took a stab at writing a screenplay, and I did. In like 3 weeks, a month, I was done. Literally done. 90-page screenplay, beginning to end, edited everything. And I sat back and was so struck by how fast it was. Because, of course, writing a novel is, oh my god, grueling sometimes and long. Everybody talks about it. It takes years to finish a novel, blah, blah, blah. So one day I happened to be inspired to write a novel. Obviously, that was successful because there's a total of 6 of them in the series and not just the one. And one of the first things I thought of, as part of the brainstorming and planning of the novel was the method by which I would write the novel. And I said to myself, I really liked writing a screenplay because it was so fast. It was so fast to do, and that accomplishment actually kind of feels good, and when you don't finish something, that feels shitty. So I said, well, what if I could figure out a way of mixing the screenplay format with a novel format at the same time? Still keeping it a novel, but in some way using the haste of a screenplay writing to in some way assist me. So this is what I figured out. When I sit down and write a novel, page 1, day 1, all I write is dialogue. And I'm not kidding. I will write 120, 150 pages of dialogue in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. It's really easy to write dialogue because we're human beings and we're dialogue-focused creatures. That's what we do. We just talk. You notice when you're sitting around talking with your friends at coffee or whatever, you're not describing the scene you're sitting in like you were a writer. You're not describing the other person's clothing and physical features as though you were a writer. You're just talking. You're delivering dialogue. And so we're, as human beings, not very practiced at describing the scene around us and describing, it's not part of what we do in a day, right? So when you have to write a novel and you have to write the descriptions of everything as well as the dialogue of everybody, that I think is what was bogging at least me down. So when I start writing a novel on day one, all I write is dialogue, like I said, and I just put here on the screen, you can see, I put the first letter, I put the first letter of the name of the character, I put a colon, and then I start my brackets and my, how's it going today, and I do not worry about spelling or any of that crap because editing happens after you're done writing. Just finish writing and then you edit, okay? And character 1, N says, how's it going today? There should be a question mark there. Who cares? A says, I'm cool. How's you? And she says, sorry, I'm using the names of the characters from my novels, but it's not important. And she's like, I'm good, but the weather sucks. And he's like, yeah, I know, right, but what can you do? It's Canada, etc., etc., etc. Again, 120 pages in a couple weeks is pretty easy. So once I've done that, once I got a satisfying amount of dialogue, which is again 100 pages or so, then I go back. And phase 2 of the writing, borrowed from screenplay format, is something called Rileys. When you write a screenplay, Rileys are something you're really not supposed to do. They're kind of bad form. When you write a screenplay, all you really write is establishing paragraphs that establish the scene, and then you write the dialogue for the characters. What a Riley is when the screenwriter, writes how the character delivers his dialogue. And that's bad form in a way because it's the actor's job to deliver the dialogue how he or she figures they should, not how the writer figures it. But sometimes you put the name of the character, and then in brackets, angry or sarcastic or whatever, and then you write the line of the dialogue. And that's to say to the actor, he's supposed to deliver that dialogue in an angry or sarcastic way. Again, screenwriters don't really do this, and actors don't really like it, but there you are. Now, when you're writing a novel, obviously, it's a little bit different. The Rileys in a novel are the he said, she said, he asked, she inquired, and all those little things, including all their micro movements while they're talking. So, some characters talk with their hands, or they avoid eye contact, or they blush, or they yawn, or they do something while they're delivering their dialogue. So, back to my point, after I've written 120 pages of dialogue, I go back, and then I start writing in the Rileys. So, with our example, how's it going today? Smiles, Nozomi, cooking, and errand, lock of hair over an ear. Oops. And then we go to his line of dialogue, and he said, oh, we could do this too, which I kind of replies, I'm cool. And then she's like, I'm good. Replies she, but, and then we go back to him. We could do this. Yeah. Chuckles. I kind of, oops. I'm a bad typist. I know, right? Blah, blah, blah. And of course, these Rileys, this is, it doesn't have to be, you're the writer, write whatever you want. Make them as long as you can, descriptive as you can, whether or not you need them, blah, blah, blah. It's up to you. But that's part 2. So, dialogue first, Riley second. Third, and finally, where's my cursor? There it is. Third and finally, you go back, and then you write the establishing paragraphs. Now, the reason why I leave it last is because, like I said earlier, this is something we don't do often, is describe the world in words like a writer. And so it's kind of hard. It's the more difficult of the 3 stages. But you write where they are, what they're wearing, what they're doing, the weather, the blah, 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 and you set the scene. And then partway through a chapter, if the characters arrive at a new place, you write the, re-establishing scene, and so on and so on. But I leave that to last. Wow. Okay. Also, you leave editing to last because it's a waste of time while you're writing. So, just to recap, because I hit the 10-minute mark here, and I'm trying to make this fast, but I'm not doing well. Try writing the dialogue first, then try writing Riley second, and then try writing the big flowery descriptive crap last. Leave that for last, because it's the hardest thing to do. Okay, there's more for me to say. There's going to be a part 2, because I got other hints for you that are really going to, I think, help you to finish your stupid novel. And then maybe you'll be more successful than I am. I don't know, shit. But you got to get it done. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute. Or I'll see you next time, I guess.